Actually, before going to actual Jenkins pipeline, our Jenkins pipeline is more of first Java related. Why? Because all application, most of the applications are Java related applications. So I will try to explain it what it will. For example, here usually this is Git. So so in Git, we know we can able to keep in our code in GitHub repository. This is the GitHub repository. So in from this GitHub repository, usually the Jenkins will take the code. Okay, the Jenkins will take the code. You know how to clone the GitHub repository. Jenkins. Jenkins will easily clone the GitHub repository. Okay. Here usually the developers will do the things. So developers develop the code. Okay. So here developers develop the code. The developers develop the code, and they can keep their code into the GitHub repository. So from this GitHub repository, Jenkins will clone the code from the GitHub repository. Is there any doubt in this? I think so. There is no doubt. Is it right? So usually the developers will develop the Java developers or .NET developers or even DevOps. Is all they have developed the code and they can keep in the GitHub repository. Okay. Then from Jenkins easily it can able to download the code from GitHub repository to the workspace. Is there any doubt in this?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Pratyusha?
No, I don't have.
Yeah. So from this GitHub, then you can download the code from code. Usually Jenkins will download easily code from the GitHub. So after cloning the GitHub, usually for Java code, then if the Java code want to deploy into the any particular server, for example, this is maybe a on-prem server or EC2 server, whatever the server doesn't matter. So in this server, our Java code need to deploy. So usually in this server, if you want to deploy here in previous days or maybe we need to use some middleware component like Tomcat. Uh, Tomcat is a one software. There we need to install our Java. Once we need to install the uh, Tomcat in the server. So first we need to create the server. In server, we need to create the Tomcat. So in this Tomcat, we need to deploy our Java code. Okay. This Java code, if you directly deploy, is it working? Simply the Java files and all .java files, if you deploy, it doesn't work. Obviously, the compilation should be required. Is it right? So even C also, if you want to execute any program, the C language also some compiler is required. So it compile the code in, then you can able. See, the Java code is also the whatever the developers they can write, these all files are in the dot files. Dot Java files are there. In Java files means dot Java files are there. So but these Java files simply you can clone from GitHub repository, you can deploy here, it won't work. Okay. So this all .java files we need to compile. Okay. So where we need to compile? Usually the olden days, the developer or any release engineer, they can developers they have submitted their code, Java code into the release engineer. The release engineer will do this compile this .java classes into the like Ant or build tool they are using. They can compile and they can deploy it into the server. But in nowadays scenario, it's not like that. Just the build and release team is not available now. These all are the DevOps and cloud engineers. There is a no build and release. Previous olden days, then build and release team is there. Then they can compile the code and they can deploy into the servers. But now the thing is not like that. Okay. So we need to compile this code. So this whatever the Java code is there, this Java code we need to compile. So for that purpose, we are using the Maven tool we are using. So this Maven tool, what it will do is this Maven tool will compile the code, whatever the Java code is there, that Java code will compile into the class files. then it will build the var or jar. So it will build the var file or jar file. Once this var and jar is built by the Maven, then this jar we are deploying into the this server. So this is the overall context of why you are now our topic is today topic is Maven. So why you are using to use this Maven and what is the importance means. For example, if you want to work in a Java applications, you should know the what is the Maven. So why? Because Maven is a one tool which we are using to compile the code and to package the total code into the either jar or var. So for that purpose we are using. So why you are compiling the code means what I said, like if you want to deploy your code into the servers, then we need to compile. So once this if you are deploying the server, then only we can able to access the site. So then now we need to discuss about the Java. As of now, if you have any question.
No.
Yeah. Okay, now we need to discuss about the Maven. So before the Maven, before Jenkins pipeline to build the images and push into the like any Docker register, we need to discuss about the Maven class. So in middle, I will take only 1 hour Maven. I think 1 hour or 40 minutes is enough. Why? Because this Maven is more of developers piece of work, but we know some part in the Maven. That's why just we. So basically, Maven is Apache tool. So if you observe here, official document, Maven, Apache Maven. Welcome to Apache Maven. So this Apache Maven is a build tool. Usually, olden days, we have a Ant is a build tool. Ant is a build tool. But now, the most of the people are using the Maven and Gradle. For example, your application is Java application. So your application is Java application. So if you want to compile the code, either we need to use the three tools to compile the code and build the jar or what Ant we are using. So, but this Ant is the old kind of version. So then now there are no one will use this Ant tool. So next one is the Maven we are using. Maven is the one more build tool. So be to build the jar and what. The next one is a Gradle. But this Gradle also most of the people are not using. Most of the people are using Gradle. Most of the people are using only Maven. So that's why we are going to discuss about the Maven. So in Maven, actually the main thing is the POM. POM is the project management, project object management. So you can click on this Apache. Welcome to Apache Maven here. Hmm. Yeah, this much is all not required. Just only Maven Maven things is required. Apache Maven. Okay, here form is required. Okay, here this part is required. Okay, in Maven build tool, the mainly these three as a DevOps engineer, we have to know about what is this one and what is artifact and what is the version. So these are the three main things we have to know: artifact ID, then group ID, then version. These are the three main things we have to know as a DevOps engineer. The remaining thing is not required for us. Okay. Here, what this file is Maven, we have a POM file is there. POM is nothing but project object management and what project management thing is everything means how we can segregate the project and everything will be depends mentioned clearly in the POM. Okay. So here in POM, we need to know mainly the group ID, artifact ID, and version ID. These three are the main important. So then the so many things are there in the POM also. So for example, here we have like developers related, and then here some profiles and also some so much stuff is there here, but we don't bother about this all those things. Why? Because here we are not changing anything in this form.xml, only this part will change. Then only the if it is required here some distribution channel is there, distribution, that part only just you can change it. So remaining thing I don't think so, just we are not changing anything. So then here Maven, yeah, Maven plugins and Maven goals are plugins. Yeah. This here in Maven we have a build life cycle is there. This is very important. Okay. Generally in interviews also they are asking, can you do you have a any idea about the Maven life cycle, and these all those things they are asking. Obviously, this the if someone will ask those people are asking this Maven related questions means, for example, your project going to be work on the Python, for example. So then at that time they are not asking any question. For example, the interview you are only working on maybe npm related applications or only Python applications. So they require the DevOps engineer. They don't want to ask like where what is the Maven. Okay. But even in DevOps engineer also is working in platform engineer is not related to building the applications and deploying the applications guy. He's also not asking this Maven. So those who are asking Maven is, for example, the person which is working completely so to deploy their applications into the servers. So to build the jars and wars at that time only they are asking like Maven. So but as a DevOps engineer, why? Because we have to know the Maven. Why all projects are out of 100 projects, 80 to 90 projects are Java projects only. The remaining only the Python projects are front end projects and different projects are there. So you have to know the what is the Maven life cycle and how we can package and all. So here, then in Maven we have a different life cycles are there. If you observe here, the validate, compile, test, package, verify, install, deploy. So each one it has its own preference. Like validate means so it validates the total code, whatever the code is there. So code is nothing but whenever we are the developers they have different jar files and jar files. The total project need to be validated. It's a structured project and properly executed. After validation, it need to compile. The second point is compile. So compile means how we can see the compilation in C. The same way here the it will compile the code. So that is the second one. Then after compilation, it need to test. Usually we are not performing manually this one. Why? Because just if you are giving a command, then it will perform this validate and compile. But this life phases I am explain. What is the life cycle phases? So test means it test the means some unit test cases they are writing. We are not writing the unit test cases. Two different test cases are there. One is the developers writing test cases and QA people test cases. So both are different entirely. So QA people they will write test cases then based on their requirements like mm, scenario based test cases, some automation test cases. They are writing that is entirely different. The test cases is okay. Now, what is this test is in developers, they write some JUnit test cases. That is this one. So the package means whether we need to package in var or jar. For example, in Java, we have a this all about this class is theory class only. These all jar files, Java files, they can make it as a single jar or var. So that we are packaging. After packaging, it is working fine or not, then it will test. Finally, the install and deploy. The once we are packaging a jar or what, that will be installed in your local workspace where you are compiling the code and all. So after once we are installing, then deploy means it will send to the either Nexus or JFrog and all. So for example, already if you observe here, here we have a GitHub repository. Here code is there. Here Jenkins, we have a Maven. So once the code is generated here, like jar or var, for example, if you observe the jar, this jar we need to keep into the Nexus repository. We have a Nexus repository at JFrog. So here, company to company, they are differently using. Some people they are using Nexus. Some people they are using JFrog. But don't bother about this one. You can fix to one or yeah. For example, if I have actually two projects, yeah, in one project I have used the Nexus, another project I have used the JFrog. Like that, you can tell them. So, but in Nexus JFrog, you don't need to install from the scratch and all. Why? Because this already I said like Jenkins, Nexus, these all those stuff will be already existing. But you need to do is the, for example, most cases like writing the Kubernetes manifest file, Terraform manifest file, or automate the things like how we can write the Jenkins pipelines. That stuff only mainly asked. So this whatever the jar is, it will be uploaded in the Nexus or JFrog like that. So now again we will deeply just what is the again pom.xml and we'll, for example, I have a one Java project. So go to here my GitHub. So here I have created one project, Java project. It's completely a Docker Maven project. So in this project, actually, in Java, whenever the developers they have created in Java project, in we have like SRE is there and the pom.xml is there. Out of these things, this Docker file and Jenkins file and this demo dot it should not require in the Java project, but to build the Jenkins pipeline, this stuff is required. But initially, whenever you are creating the Java, you may get the more of SRC files and pom.xml. So what this SRC has is a Java code. It is available in SRC folder. So it is. I have a sample, very sample project, Hello World project, Java project. So in go to SRC folder, only I can able to see one dot file only, one Java file only I can able to see like app.java. But in real time, the thing is like 100 files or 20 files or 40 files. For example, it's a big application, we have multiple Java files are there. But in if it is very small application, maybe less Java files are there. So these Java files will be developed by the developers. We are not writing anything in the this Java files. We don't we at least bother about these Java files. Came problem. We are not concentrating these Java files. Just by understanding purpose, I am telling like usually developers will write this Java code. So, but in Java code, it will observe like SRC is a common. After that, main Java. Here, my company means instead of my company, they are mentioned like HSBC, HDFC Bank, like that. So, we have a multiple Java files are there. Once the Java files are available, so to compile that one, based on what scenarios it will compile. So if you want to go from one place to other place, you should have a plan and you should take a bike or car or whatever the plan we need to have. So similar, for example, to build the jar or var, the main thing is the pom.xml. Here the pom.xml is the main key point to either we require to build the what kind of version and what kind of application, these all those things. So here the pom.xml, we need to mention like group ID, artifact ID, then version like that. So in real time, in group ID, they mention like company. Then here maybe HSBC Bank or otherwise maybe Macy's e-commerce or Kohl's e-commerce in US. Like that they mention Kohl's dot app like that they mention. So that is the group ID. So this artifact ID means in Kohl's also we have a multiple projects are there. Maybe payment related one project, vendors data one project, or different project, n number of projects. When in a single application you have maybe a 151 200 applications are there. In each vertical we have like 10 20 applications are there. So here we need to mention your application. Then here we need to mention code. In which version of the code we need to deploy, and means we need to mention this version. So these are the three main things to build the jar or var. Okay. Here in this so many dependency jars also there. So what are the dependency jars are required, and what we need to mention here is this completely this part and this plugins part and dependency part is the developers. We are done already. I said we don't bother about this dependency jars and all those things. So we are not these are whatever their required things like any extra libraries they want, then they can mention clearly here the developers. Only this all those things jar will happen based on this pom.xml. Okay. Yeah. As of now, if you have any questions, then you can ask.
So nothing from my side. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
like explore. It's quite new to me. So
Yeah, it's like it's completely theory concept like Maven, and maybe once we're set up this practically the Maven goals we're running, then you can able to understand clearly. So see by telling this the theory, then obviously it's what something like if those who are not came from even just previously, if you have some Java, then it's required. But it's we are not doing any coding here. So how the total compilation happen, how the versions will come. Generally, if you observe, yeah, today my production release is there, and today I need to deploy something like that. How the deployment happen is, so this all Maven will compile the code, then we will get 1.1 version, 1.2 version like that we will get. For example, today deployment. Maybe 1.2 version. Maybe after some days we need to get the 1.5 version. Like that we will get it. How it will happen, everything. This all Maven goals. Java, if it is Java project, based on this one only, this releases and everything will happen. Okay. Then here I have a in our GitHub repository Maven related whatever the things we need to remember in interview. What are the things are asking related to, if it is the Maven questions, then how much depth we need to prepare as a Maven. So if you observe, if you take each concept, then so much depth is required for each. For example, even in anything. So for here also Maven, how much depth we need to read. Here already in our documents, we have a maven.md also there. Just you can go through it, the basic stuff which I have explained as of now, and we have. So, mm, as I mentioned here, we have a types of build tools are like Ant, Gradle, and Maven, but we are using only Maven. So here, as mentioned, like Maven is a build tool which will use to compile the code, test the code, package the code, and deploy the code. So if there are someone is asking what is the Maven means, it is a, like a general software only. It's a tool which helpful to build these build the var or jars and deploy the this jar into the remote server. So in Maven, POM is very important. Project object model, this POM. So as I mentioned here, then artifact ID is like that. For example, HDFC Bank payments and gateway like 1.0.j. Here totally we have a two types of packages are there. Generally, we have a like jar and var. So what is the jar and var? Generally, we can come across jar and var for usually. Latest technologies all are jar only. There is a no var, all are jar only. Why? Because what is the jar and what is the var means? In olden days, what happened is our Java files and some HTML files, JSP files means that are related to the front end related. Java files as well as if you have some CSS files and JSP files like that, JSP files, then this we can treat it as not a jar. So this all those things packaged as a one software, then that you are called as a var web archive file. Web archive file means it has Java files as well as HTML files means front end UI related files. All combination we are called it as a var. But jar means only Java related class files only there. So nowadays, not using the var. Why? Because separately the front end code will be separately in one application, back end code will be maybe in a different application. Don't mingle those two nowadays. That's why we are only stick to the jar. Okay. Whether we require the jar or not, where we need to mention is in pom.xml only we need to mention whether we require the jar or what. Okay. Then, as I said, these are the Maven life cycles like validate, compile, test, and these all how we can install and deploy package. I will explain practically, so don't bother about with each life cycle goals. I will explain it. Okay. But here this snapshot and release is one concept. Concept means when we can go with a snapshot version, when we can go with a release version means, for example, any application which is in the development stage. For example, you have a Java application. So it is the, for example, developer one, you will change something. So maybe today 1 o'clock you will change one thing. So then if you want to test it, he want to test his application, whatever the jar he generated, so that need to deploy into the some server. So he will deploy into the server, then he will check the either what changes he made, is it correct or not. So maybe this one is the after 2 o'clock also he find that it is not working, again he need to change. So frequently if you developers will commit that code, we directly not deployed into the production until unless the code is perfect and everything is code is good into the lower environments, then only we need to deploy our code into the production servers. So for at the time of testing, usually we need to mention the snapshot version. Why? Because in snapshot version, we are not changing this version of the code 1.0. Only this build numbers will change. There is no impact in the version of this one. So, but in release version means we know don't use the snapshot directly. Release means whatever the version we are deployed into the production, that is the release version. Whatever the versions we are using usually deployed into the test environment, that are the snapshot versions. Okay. Here, whenever we are building that our image will becomes to snapshot or release, that we are mentioned in the pom.xml. Okay, I will show you that where we need to mention in pom.xml. Yeah, in pom.xml here the last distribution. Okay, maybe in this pom.xml we don't have a distribution. Yeah, in this case, we don't have why because here our pom.xml is more of related to the Docker image related. Okay, here in this Docker image, we don't require the snapshot and release versions. We are tagging based out of either any file or build number. But generally, var or jar if you want to deploy here, distribution concept is the distribution system. So distribution management in Maven. Okay. Yeah, if you observe here, these all dependencies. So if this dependency part you need to mention into the pom.xml. This who are keep this dependency into the pom.xml and what dependency we want to keep in the pom.xml, that will taken care by the developers based on their requirement. We are not doing anything. We are not taking the any dependency in keep into the pom.xml. But here what I am trying to show is here in distribution system, we need to mention your URLs. Distribution system, you need to mention in where we need to store our artifacts that we need to mention in distribution system. So maybe in our pom.xml also we don't have. But why? Because that is a new kind of images we are not using. Only old artifacts. For example, still the artifacts are deployed into the Java, like any instance. At that time, only that snapshot release versions we are using. So now in this also we don't have. So there is no issues. But generally in pom.xml only we have that distribution system concept is there. Okay, then apart from that, now we have to start going to install the Maven. Now we can install the Maven and now you can call it the Maven into the our Jenkins part. Okay. So as of now, if you get the some brief idea, that's good. Then I don't think so. Just we are getting everything is absorb and you can try to under. I don't think so. So, but in interview point of view, whatever the document we have, that you can go through it. That's more than enough. They won't ask much questions on the Maven also. So yeah, if you have any questions, then if you come across anything, then you can ask. Then if I know, then I will, or otherwise, if I don't know, then I will let you know and tell you. Why? Because everyone should not have a practically in interviews and while preparing how it will work with. Here, the in real time doing also, some people are everyone they don't have a opportunity or time to work on everything is into in my case just I have worked on so much stuff in the Maven and pipelines in previous project, but some people they don't have a like opportunity to get to work. Why? Because they worked on maybe BigQuery related or maybe any data analytics as a DevOps engineer. Maybe I don't have that one. So like that, each person we don't expect the expertise in each topic. So if you know, that's good. Okay. That but in this Maven is the one case we need to know. So for especially Java applications. Yeah. If you have anything, then you can ask. Hello.
Yeah, nothing from my end, but
No,
I'm trying
nothing
to
from my.
process all this.
Yeah, that's the same.
Or you said like already you know this one, or you try to understand.
No, I'm trying to. I know that snapshot and all because I worked on that only.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea about that. The rest I'm processing because it's
Mm.
completely theory, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now go to the Jenkins part. Okay, now actually we need to install Maven in our Jenkins. So why we need to install the Maven? As I said just now, if you want to compile the any code and all, so here as for this diagram also, here in Jenkins server only we need to install the multiple softwares and multiple tools we need to integrate. So in Jenkins server already we have installed the Git and we are logged into the server. We here Maven also we can able to install in command line, but as compared to the command line, you can easily install the in tool section. So here if you go to dashboard, then go to the manage Jenkins, go to a dashboard and click on the manage Jenkins. So if I click on the manage Jenkins, we have a plugin concept is there. So already we have seen that now we can install the plugins and all. Next, we have like tool section is also there. Here nodes and cloud, it is to add the slave nodes. Then this is about like credentials and all. Then here the tool section, go to tool section. In tools, if you observe here, we have like Maven and Mercurial. This is the guitar big bucket, and this is Gradle. I mentioned like different tools are using like Maven tool you are using to build the jar and water, and we are using then Mercury is this is GitHub related. Then Gradle we are using. Then here we are mentioned GitHub is there. So JDK is the Java related software. JDK means Java. If you want to work Java, we require the Java development kit. That is the JDK. So now what I am trying to say is, so if you want to install the Maven, why we want to install the Maven? As I said, if you want to compile the code, we need to install the Maven. Here the two different cases are there. You can install Maven you can install Maven in your local, and you can able to create a project in your local. You can able to do it, but that is helpful for those who are developing the actual Java code. For their end, then they need to set up their in their local the Java project. They need to compile the code. That is helpful. But as a DevOps engineer, just we need to more of like we are installing the Maven into the servers or in Jenkins servers. We are installing the Maven. We are not installing any in local. That's why if you want to work our pipeline, we require the Maven. So Java, especially Java pipelines, if you want to work. So we need to install the Maven. I will go to install the Maven, add Maven. Here, so many versions are there, Maven versions like 3.8.6, 3.8.5, 3.8.4, like the Maven. Latest version is like 3.9.4 Maven. Simply while installing the Maven, you have to mention here Maven version. Here you have to select instant automatically. Then you can mention here only the Maven whatever the version. This name is your wish. So this name is completely your wish. So why it is your wish means we can able to mention anything. For example, I will mention 3.9. So this name is very important. How it is important, I will tell you. So while writing a pipeline, so Maven -3.9.4 we need to mention. Once you can save, automatically this Maven will install in your laptop. So save it. No need to do anything, just automatically it will save it. So now we can create one pipeline, our Maven pipeline. Then we can until Maven pipeline 1. Okay, we have to select like again pipeline, simple Maven pipeline 1 pipeline, we want to select. Okay, the same process whatever we are previously using, same. Okay, this pipeline you have to mention, curly braces open, again you have to mention agent any, then we have to mention like stages. In stages again we have to mention stage. Here I will mention like git clone. So I think so. Previously, have you done? Then now we can clone the GitHub repository. So I think so. We don't clone the GitHub repository through Jenkins pipeline. So we have mentioned how we can clone the GitHub repository here. Okay, Jenkins. We have seen up to now sample pipeline. This one. The second one is only creating the directories. Third one is only just now how we can download the, as of now we can previously can see how we can download the through a freestyle job, how we can download the GitHub. So now how we can download through Jenkins pipeline we can see. So now pipeline agent any stages, the git clone. Now my requirement is I want to download the my git. So simply curly braces open. Here we need to mention steps, curly braces open. Here we need to mention how we can download the code. We have a different types, different people differently they are using to download. Now we can follow based on this Groovy pipeline syntax generator. Click on this one. Here our requirement is to download the Git. Okay, download the GitHub code from GitHub repository. We need to download. So for that purpose, here how it will get this one already I said. So syntax generator is there. Then here if I click on here, then you can click on pipeline syntax generator. It will open in other tab. In other tab it will open directly. So in this tab we need go there and I can click on Git.
Yeah, so can you start from this page? How did we start from here? Like if you go all the way up.
No, that's why I said like here this is this page will get it now. This one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
here you can click on here pipeline syntax generator.
Yeah.
Immediately it will open.
Correct. Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
Here we have mentioned default will get like this. Default will get like this. So
Correct.
then you can select here the Git.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
here we need to mention what repository you try to clone. So I want to download my Maven, this repository I want to download now. Docker Maven image I want to download. So click on here, then HTTPS. So I will copy this one, then I will paste it.
Yeah, we can also use it.
Yeah, you can use my repository. Docker Maven image we can use, no issue.
Yeah, can you paste it on the chat? I'll quickly use it instead
Yeah,
of
yeah.
going.
Yeah, you can mention that one. Then we can here that will be there in the main only. Our repository is there in main. This repository is in main only, main branch. Just you can here for that credential is not required. You can keep none. Then generate pipeline syntax. So we'll get like this. Then this is only we are using to generate the syntax for using in our pipelines. In our pipelines, whatever the syntax we want to use, if you are not aware, then how we can use it. Then go to the pipeline syntax generator. Then we can do the some stuff. Here everything is not available, but we can able to do. So here we can take this one. This is only the how we can download the GitHub repository. So take this one, copy, then keep here. So is it as of now how we can take this one? Is any doubt?
No, nothing from my side. Stage.
Yeah.
No, it's not even from.
Now we can save and run. Then we can able to download the GitHub.
No data available.
So here agent any, maybe I will mention wrong agent. Yeah, we need to agent spelling. Yeah. No GitHub means you didn't install previously, maybe Git. You have to install Git in your server.
Yeah, we installed Git right that day.
After that you have downloaded na, you actually what the problem is, you are installing T2 micro in Jenkins server. At that time you are trying to install Git, it will stuck. So after that that class you stuck there, then again next class you need to create new server. But maybe after that you didn't install Git.
I
But
did install Git. I was able to successfully install Git.
yeah, then if it is install the Git, there is no issues. Then we didn't get anything here. Git is not available like that. You don't get directly. Will get the Git like this.
Yeah, it says build fail, start user base.
Yeah, 1 second after completion of this will come back. Yeah, just only pipeline agent any in the steps you need to mention like this. Then we can build now.
Configure.
Now we can observe it will download the code. Yeah. Previously we can hard code means freestyle job we can mention clearly there, but here it everything will be in the file only. So now we can able to download the code. If you observe, go to the workspace also.
Yeah, give me this code.
Yeah, I will paste in that one.
I don't know what is going on.
Yeah,
So
this.
agent, any stages, stage, git clone, steps. It's the same. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I think one curly bracket is absent here. You have 4 at the end and I have 3.
Yeah, that are the important actually.
Yeah, now it is working. It is doing something. Yeah, now it's successfully ran. Okay.
Now only this is a GitHub. Next we'll do the some Maven different goals we are running. The Maven goals. So here if you want to run the Maven goals, again we need to write one more stage. So here we can go here. We need to write one more stage here, like stage. Here you are mentioned like anything, but I will mention Maven build. Then again curly braces, open, close, steps. Here inside we need to mention, for example, here the Maven goals are, for example, if you want to compile anything, then usually we are going to use like sh means if you want to execute any command, like create the directory like that. So here I need to mention mvn compile. This mvn compile means it will compile the code, download the total code and it will compile it. Okay. So you can try to run this one. Obviously, we'll get some error. Why? Because we didn't mention the toolings. What it would say is the mvn command is not found. Why mvn command is not found here? Actually, Maven means it is the mvn. So, but I mentioned correctly only this mvn. But why it is mvn is not coming is in this file what Maven we are using backend we are not mentioned here. So we need to mention the what type, what backend, what Maven we are using and all. So that part we are need to mention here in tool section. We need to mention tools, whatever, what is the Maven we are using. So I will tell you that is in next part. So again, it will take some 5 minutes. So yeah. Then if you have, as of now, if you have any questions, then okay. So are you in the process in this one as of now, Pratyusha?
Yeah.
Yeah, in next class we'll do multiple things like mvn compile, mvn install, this all stuff. After that we can build the Maven like Docker and all. So again we need to install Docker in Jenkins itself. Yeah, we will do that stuff in tomorrow, maybe next 1 hour. Tomorrow it will come. Yeah. If you have
Okay.
anything in previous classes also, just you can ask in Jenkins part.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
so
Yeah, tell me.
just the recording of the last class, if you can get a chance
Yeah,
today,
yeah, I will upload. Sure.
I
Yeah,
will go through it tomorrow morning, my day. So I actually missed to follow because of this issue with the AWS.
yeah, no issue, no issue.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.